the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out with a flame. I will let you in this game. Take me out when I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe and sound. 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 Safe and
Yo, everybody. Welcome to the end of week 1 podcast, really. Where they in Studio 2 for.
Ho and Dwarf will be here in a minute.
Yeah, Kyle and Dwarf
Oh,
will
are they
be
here?
in a minute.
Hello,
Yo,
everybody.
yo, yo.
Hello, congratulations, Reptic,
Thank you.
commiserations, GCI.
For getting 3-0, thank you. GG's Reptic.
GG's.
So yeah, this could be a bit of a scuffed podcast.
Yeah.
Because I've not had much time to prepare. I've had a hectic evening with games from 6 o'clock right up till now.
That is hectic.
And I finished work at 4, so
Yeah.
How was work?
work was work.
I feel that so much.
Same.
But yeah, I can't even remember how we start this. I don't think we're going to do face cams tonight.
No.
I'm not really feeling face cam. I've scruffy. rough looking. So
I'll get my camera.
Oh,
No, we know you
No,
will.
no, no.
It'll take too long setting up.
but yeah, do you have a bit with the an overlay for previous games?
I am working on it. As we
Right,
speak.
okay, well, we'll just keep waffling. But anyway, I'd just like to welcome you all to the first official Season 3 podcast. Yeah, welcome in. Tonight, joining us, we have GCI,
Yes, sir.
Reptic,
There we go.
Toxo,
What one?
and of course the legendary caster himself, Dwarf.
I like how I get a special thing to go alongside you
But-
introducing me, and no one
because you
else
are-
does.
Because you're
That
Because
makes
special.
me
you're,
feel
a legend,
special.
because you're a legendary caster.
I'm not sure about that one,
Andrew.
but I like being
I'd
Within
say
the
that's, I'd say that's
Um,
favoritism.
Yeah.
And get
we all know I'm the favorite. Just like deal with it.
Yeah, yeah. Carry on speaking, mate.
All right, calm down.
Alright, mate.
You're just mad.
but yeah. So tonight we will just be, for anyone new in watching or hasn't tuned into the podcast before, we'll go through last series games, last week's games, sorry, one by one, and we will just discuss the lowdown of what happened, and then we will move on to predictions for next week. And I think we'll leave team of the week this week. That might come back next week.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Looking forward to that.
yeah, it's just
I
yeah,
have no
it's
time
just
to prepare, man.
yeah, we've no time to prepare anything for that. I don't think there's. I don't even know where there's a stat spreadsheet, if there is one,
Yeah, there
for
is.
goals, assists, and that. So we'll
Yeah.
we'll do it next week. But yeah, so going on to the first game, which happened
It's on the screen now.
Yes, about it. But the first game last week, from the first week, was Team Dynasty versus. Can anyone remember? I don't know the
Interstellar.
logos.
Interstellar.
Interstellar. Does anyone want to take off?
Yeah, so that was a very interesting match. I mean, we went straight out the bat with a Brazil in the first match, followed by a closer game with a 3-2 win from Interstellar as well, and then after that was a 4-1, so a bit more of a dominating game again. That's very interesting to have a Brazil straight off the bat. I mean, it's interesting and it's not, because obviously sometimes you can catch a team off guard being unwarm, but I mean, it happened the last game as well, so I'm not too sure if that was the specific reason, or Interstellar just somehow didn't play as good in the second game. But yeah, that was an interesting game. Anyone got any thoughts on it?
I think they got thrown off on the bots, to be honest. I think they're only like, what, 4 down?
I
think
think
it was
they're
like-
still like 6 down.
Yeah, it was 6-1 at the time.
Yeah.
of the
Oh,
game.
was that? Oh, okay. My mistake then.
But yeah, I remember watching that game. I think the first game was really just,
Jitters and
was,
nerves,
yeah,
I
just
think.
nerves and just new players playing against, completely, new to the format as well. Not many people are used to playing in a 1GC 2 champ format.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was just that's what it was. It was just that wee bit of nerves, and then it calmed down, became a closer game, and then after they got that beat, then that I think that's probably just deflated, just deflated them, and the third game was a bit of a runaway as well at 4-1. But yeah, it was not a bad showing from Team Dynasty. I'm sure they can bounce back.
Yeah, I definitely think Dynasty are not a team to sleep on.
Dynasty.
Dynasty. They're definitely a solid team. I think they were just very nervous for the first season 3 game. I think their next game, whoever they play, I think they'll do better, and I think they'll come back strong. If they're having a week away from that game, I think they'll come back strong, but they're definitely not a team to sleep on.
Yeah, 100%. You know, Interstellar, they showed a very good, very well out of the bat, and I think they could be a lot higher than what people predicted them. I mean, Team Dynasty, I don't think they played bad at all, as you said, but I mean, I guess the scoring shows otherwise. But I just like, for me, it looked like Interstellar just played well.
Yeah, I think Interstellar are maybe are the better team, but like I said, nerves for the first game. They both want to put on a good show in Interstellar, and they did put on a good show. So
I think something else to consider with it being week 1, these teams haven't had long to sort of play with each other. So the play styles are still forming. So we haven't seen these teams in their prime yet. And that's probably going to be the case for all of the teams, other than the ones that are returning, obviously. But Dynasty, there were some good plays in there. There were some good sort of, from what I can remember, some good passing plays that didn't quite amount to anything. And things sort of fizzled out for them and they weren't able to recover from that in the series. And Interstellar, I think they just outclassed them on the day, and that's why the gap was so big between the two.
I think that's everyone had their piece on that one.
Yeah, you want to set up the next one?
Yeah, the next one, would that be Team Lotus versus Corinthian?
Yeah.
Which happened on Wednesday, I believe.
Very interesting result. I don't think many people expected Lotus to get. I mean, maybe they didn't expect them to win, but definitely not losing a 3-0 loss.
Yeah.
They weren't playing their main player Eclipse, but even the fact that he didn't play, I still wouldn't have expected them to lose in a 3-0. Like, Duffer is a very good player. And Corinthians just showed everyone wrong. I don't think they got predicted well or high in anyone's predictions. I could be wrong there, but off the top of my head at least. So yeah, they just out of the bat, they showed everyone wrong, and hopefully they can keep that on the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, that's a game I didn't really get to. It's the only game I've not seen. I've not been able to catch it on YouTube. Everyone remember, head over Brooks's Gaming on YouTube, where all the games are being uploaded the day after they're played. So if you miss it, catch up there. But yeah, it's the only one I've not managed to see. But from what I've heard, is Corinthians looked very solid. And yeah, it hurts not having Eclipse play. Duffer is a talented player in his own right, but I think Eclipse he's the main star of the show for Team Lotus, and really showed that they were missing him.
Yeah, as someone who casted this game, seeing Impulsuktigiz, I think is how you say it, Zada and Ferentinos, I believe, played. Just looking at them and on paper, they're nothing really that special, but they were able to consistently hold pressure. The mechanics weren't crazy. They weren't, sort of having insane passing plays, but they did the simple stuff very well. And that's what won them the series. You've got Duffer on the other side, which, like Kyle said, maybe not the Eclipse kind of player as much. Still very mechanical, but because his teammates didn't provide him the time, he didn't create himself the time, he wasn't able to use those mechanics. And also Corinthians just shut him down instantly, got those early challenges in, which that alone, shutting down the GC, is going to win you the series. And that's just the case with this format. I don't think 2 champs against a team that is so informed like this Corinthians team is going to do that well. So yeah, that's just my piece on it.
Anyone else have any thoughts? Toxo GCI?
I didn't, unlike you, I didn't get to also like you. Sorry, not unlike you. Also like you. I didn't get to watch the game, to be honest. I believe that was the day I wasn't.
I do agree with Dwarf though. Like they did very well with cutting out the offer from Lotus, and yeah, again I do agree that the two champs are just gonna struggle to be able to play a GC and two champs. You know, it's basically 2v3 plus a higher rank as one of the three. It's just unfortunately not gonna work in most cases, and Alpha just had too much work in front of them as well.
Yeah, I think you kind of covered it. I have nothing much really to say there.
Yeah. Next
Yeah.
up we have, who's that team? Now my brain's not working.
Obviously,
Obviously, yeah.
Who's that? What team's that again?
Solaris.
Solaris.
Yeah.
Solaris.
My brain's not functioning.
Fine, we'll carry you.
So
Tricks.
they won. That is one of the few games that didn't go 3-0. I believe there's only two of them. Yep,
Yeah.
2 games
Yeah.
right here. That is mental for week 1, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyways, so they start off with a loss, only a 1-goal loss. OCS took that, and then they follow that on with a 3-1 victory, a 4-1 victory, and then a 3-2 victory. I think it shows that obviously they lost the first game, but that's not unheard of. Like it takes a while for people to get into series sometimes. And then after that, they just seem to beat them pretty comfortably. The next 2 games, they just put their head in the game. And then Ophius somewhat fighted back in the last game with losing 3-2. I mean, they brought it to a 1-goal game, but I think it was a pretty easy series for Sodaris from where I watched it.
Yeah, I have to agree with that one. I think 50 EXO or V in the match and Helter, especially Helter, played incredibly. Provided so much value on top of 50 getting so many challenges, so many shots on goal, and 50 was really the heart of this team, providing the pressure needed to win. Dropping the first game, I think it was just sort of getting situated, getting sort of used to the game. Once that happens, they were comfortable. They completely not destroyed, but they took control of the series. Next Fox is the talking point for me. I think he's an incredible player, probably one of the best GCs in the league, but I don't think he's used to playing with lower ranked players because of how he plays. I think he goes for risky challenges because he expects his teammates to be able to make the plays around him, not realizing that he's putting his teammates in awkward positions. And I think that's why they lost, was because the positions that Next Fox put his champs in were just too difficult to deal with.
Yeah, following on, I have to agree with that. Next Fox is a class player, but you find this with a lot of players that come over from RSE. It can take them a few games to settle in playing with, lower ranked players because, RSE is all sort of people round about your same rank. There's not such a big drop from especially GC2, 3, high GC2, low GC3, playing with a champ 2 and a champ 1 or a champ 3. And I think that did catch him off guard. He was going for stuff, probably in the RSC mindset that, if I miss this, my teammate's good enough to help me out. And, it's a problem that I think we had with Jeffo at the beginning, or I certainly had with Jeffo at the beginning when we first started playing with Jeffo last year, was just, Jeffo was, putting me in awkward spots and I'm not as good as him. But I'm sure they'll settle down if he can, learn how to do that, and if champs around him can step up that wee gear and they get used to each other, I think they'll be a very dangerous team.
Yeah, I do think give it till next week. I think they'll be an even stronger team. I have them next week, and I'm very nervous to play them, as I saw NetFox play unbelievable, and his champs were very good as well. But yeah, it does come down to how the play style is. But yeah, give it a week. I think they'll be one of the top teams. And I'm very nervous to play them actually. So see how that goes.
You managed to catch this one, Toxo?
Uh,
I think you
Alright.
cast it. You're
sorry,
not
which
cast
one? Sorry.
Off the ESA versus Solaris.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I managed to catch this one. I enjoyed the game. I just feel like Next Fox's team were him as himself. Next Fox as himself was good. I just feel like his champs left him down a bit. I think if you can get the good chem between him and his champs, they can definitely be a strong team in the future.
Agreed.
Yeah. So the next one along is Miracle versus Fearless. What Fearless 5? What Miracle won in a 3-0 fashion, and the first game was. I mean, I remember watching this. It was a scrappy game, but that's what you expect from a lot of these series. Is the two teams trying to figure each other out, and that ended in a 2-1 victory to Miracle. And then following that, they won the next game with a comfortable 2-0. And then following that was a 7-3 victory to Miracle as well. Fearless 5, I'm going to assume they just went all in that game. And they managed to get a couple of goals, but Miracle was just able to edge it. Well, I'd say just able to edge it, but they able to win it with a 7-3 victory in that game. Yeah, it was surprising. I didn't expect Fearless to get 3-0'd. I thought it was going to be close, like a 3-2, but that's how it went. I can't really remember too much about the series, so I can't really say too much on it. I'm not sure if anyone else did.
I mean, I was there. I think I casted it. Yeah, it was really surprising. Because I remember last season, Miracle didn't do as well as they hoped. And I think Hexos was just a low GC1, and now I think he's improved so much. And so is the champs. Gravesy and Charlie, they're both really really good defensive players, and that helps Hexos out because he's really mechanical, and he's really like offensive. And I think that play style between the three really helps. And I think if they keep this up, I think they'll definitely be top four. Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is one where, I hate to say it, but I'm not overly surprised. I rate Team Miracle very highly. It's a tough game for me, this one, because it was both of my RSC teammates up against each other. Nad for Fearless 5 and Gravesy for Team Miracle. But yeah, like Gravesy he is a different level in defence. He's a real, you can trust him. And that is always good when you have someone behind you that you can fully trust. And yeah, the game, I didn't get to catch it live, but I instantly watched back the VODs with Nad, and they were really, the first two games were really close, could have gone either way. And I think that third game is just, heads went down, comms probably went out the window, and, they shouldn't beat themselves up over that. They were playing in what, in my opinion, is one of the better teams, a top 3 team in the Ballbuster division. But yeah, it was, a shame to see the aftermath of what happened in Fearless 5, but, they'll rebound, they'll come back stronger. And yeah, Miracle, I think, will just, they're one to watch out for, and anyone, myself and Toxo and Dwarf will need to watch out for that Team Miracle side.
Yeah. Anyone else got any thoughts on it?
I watched the game. I obviously in my predictions I didn't really rate Team Miracle, because they just got rid of Bale for Hexos from last season and changed a little bit. I think they changed one more person. And so I think in my prediction I put them down at like 7th, and Fearless 5 I think I put them at like 5th. So seeing Miracle beat Fearless 5 was very surprising. and I think they play very well. And I agree with Kyle. I think it is a team to look out for in that side of the conference.
This is the only game I haven't watched. So
So that's it. We will move on to the next game, which happened last night between Resurrection and Team. Um, we'll let Dwarf kick this one off. On you go, seeing as it was your game.
oh, it was a fun series, you know. I really enjoyed it. No, but seriously, I think it was a poor performance from Team Us. I think we've got so much more potential. We didn't play the play style we needed to. We need more aggressive and we needed more midfield play. I kept saying this, but you know, it is what it is. We managed to do what we managed to do. Just the fact that we got a game said something to me. At the end of the day, I think Resurrection just played better than us. They were more mechanical. They were more in sync with each other, and they cut us out. I don't think, you know, I think it would have been so much better for the storyline and for the grudge match if Aspect played, but because of availability, you know, you've got to pick the players that you've got to pick. So I went with Janago, and it didn't work out. But you know, I think on another day, because the games were so close as well, I think other than one, it could have gone either way.
Yeah, 100%. I remember watching the Suns. Some of the scores were like a little bit distant, but I mean, it looked close. It just looked like both teams were on each other the whole time. It was just Resurrection were able to sneak more goals in through the defense. And yeah, as you said, that you definitely have more potential than what you showed in this series. But that's sometimes how it goes. You can't play good all the time, and sometimes you go into a series playing the wrong play style and takes too long to. It's not as easy as just switching a switch and like playing a different play style. Yeah, so it was definitely a closer series than 3-1 in my eyes, but that's sometimes how it goes, as I said.
Yeah. I think it was me and Toxo Cart in this game.
No, it wasn't.
No, I was.
Oh, wait.
It was me and you.
Oh wait. Oh yeah, it was me and Car.
Get it right, G-Show. Come on.
My bad. My bad.
This guy,
Um,
man.
I went with a 3-2 Resurrection. But I also was thinking Team should or could have won this very easily. I was like near the end of it. I think I said I think Team come back and win this. And I had so much hope for them, but I think Resurrection just outclassed them in their series. I think, as Dwarf said, if they played Aspect, I think because Aspect's a mechanical player, he would have been able to read all the mechanical plays from Resurrection and would have put the team in a better position.
Well, yeah, I have to somewhat agree. You know, I expected Team to win this, especially after seeing how they played in the scrim beforehand, because it was, you know, us that had, you know, the pleasure of warming them up for the game. You know, but unfortunately, you know, things just didn't come to plan. We all know that Dwarf is a man that loves his plan.
I
But
didn't come in with a plan, actually.
you know, that's I'm proud
No.
of that.
That's why we
Jesus.
lost. That's why we lost.
Oh, yeah.
Possibly that could be it. But yeah, you know, but yeah, the team are looking a lot better in scrims than they did in that match. You know, so if they could just find a way to transfer that scrim form into the official game, yeah, there's a minor hiccup, you know, and I think they'll bounce back strong. Anyone else? Toxo?
Yeah. So for this game, because Toxo's it's special kind of guy. You had the boomer 1v1 in the middle, So Toxo being Toxo, keeps it tapped out. So it's like, yeah, I'll come back once the game starts. I caught the last game. I didn't watch the whole series. I got like last game I seen, which was the 6-4, and I think both teams played relatively well. It's just like obviously just finding the hole in the defense was kind of just what was happening.
Yeah, one last. It was I think JW caught you out. He played some weird Rocket League.
Yeah.
He was playing so aggressive, like he was staying up front, getting in Cryptic and Janago's way quite a lot, and just being in places that you would never expect someone to be. And I think that really that's a risky play style. If it works out like it did that evening, it's great. But if it doesn't, you get destroyed.
Yeah, he just went full ego, and more power to him. It worked, so obviously, I can't criticize him whatsoever. Some challenges were straight up dumb. I'm gonna say that, and I think most people will agree. But if they work, they work.
Yeah,
And
they're not dumb if they work, but it's.
Well, they are.
Saying.
It's just we
a
should have
dumb
expected
saying.
it.
Yeah, it's a dumb saying, but it can be true, and it was on that night. It was a true statement. But yeah, it was just silly. The amount of times I remember saying like JW's being weird. But yeah, with that, we move on to the next game that happened an hour after the hour break, where we had a Boomer tournament, which I think Newcastle fan, I believe, went on to maybe win. We don't know fully. Does anyone know who won that?
No idea.
Musa and Newcastle fan?
It was Newcastle fan.
Was a Newcastle fan, right? Newcastle fan who is, runs his own league that we represented, had two representatives from BGCS last season.
Badgers.
We had the Badgers and the Skunk, and they, they done well. They got through into playoffs, but didn't manage to get a run going. I think this Badgers lost 2 in a row, which was unfortunate after winning the league. And the Skunks managed to make a wee run in the lower bracket. I think they won 2 games before finally dropping out to a very good team. But yeah, go and check out that. I think it's TRL. It's called
the Renaissance League.
But that moves us on. Flame versus Broken. I'm going to start this one off. It was a very, it was a 3-0 to Team Flame. I think it was expected. No disrespect to Turtle, Bags, and Aaron, but Aaron didn't have his best of games that day. And Turtle, tried his best, gave it his all to try and, shut down the GC of Team Flame. It's another game I casted, but it just wasn't to be. I think it was just they just didn't pressure enough, and that was it. They had many times where they had the chance to pressure. What team is it? Flame Esports, but they just kept backing off, and that's just, I think, the sign of a couple of unexperienced champ, playing at this level of play, and I think if they can just work things out, they can come back stronger, because they weren't embarrassed by any means in the second and third game. But Flame looked really strong. They looked like they held good pressure. Gonzalo and Minty Gonzalo's one of the most underrated champs in my opinion. Minty, has improved a lot since we last seen him. Way back in the sort of middle of season 1, their champ onesie, who was Fajita, or Fajita, as Reptic was calling him. I don't know what one it was. They looked really solid, and then they're also scary. They've got a player in Musa, who is another returning player from season 1.
Oh, let's go.
who
Moose
waiting
or-
in the wings as a GC. So if ever Minty can't play, Moose is scary. You all seen what he can do in the 1v1 Boomer tournament. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's all I've got to say on that.
Yeah, the reason why Aaron didn't have the best games because he's hurt his thumb, so he's got a massive bandage on there, so that didn't really help them. But honestly, they just got to work things out. They just got maybe get some more scrims in, try and work it out as a team, improve as a team together. Flame Esports, Minty, I've played with him before, very good player. He's very consistent and improved very quickly. Moose Size, I'm glad to see he's back. They played very well. I only got to see like their last game as I had RSC. But it looked like a very good games all round. Although Broken got not smashed, but they did get beat. I think they played very well, and I think they can do well if they just get more scrims in and just work it out as a team, just improve as a all. I think they'll do very well.
Yeah, I mean, Flame Sports like Minty just seemed to be the playmaker on that team, and with Aaron's thumb out of commission at the minute, they just didn't seem to be able to stop him. I mean, the amount of times Minty went up and did solo plays and no one jumped, or when they did jump, they sent two people, and Minty's teammate, I can't remember which one exact, or just either of them would just put it in when that one person was just sat in defense. Broken Esports definitely could have done better than they did, and I hope to see that from them.
Yeah.
Is that from anyone? Anyone else got anything to say?
I think with Aaron having his hurt his thumb, why don't you play CMAT?
I
I
don't
think CMAT
I
was
think-
unavailable.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate because I think even if Aaron's thumb wasn't hurt, CMAT's a great option.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think this was the only night that they could actually agree on.
Oh, that's
I think
unfortunate.
they were one of the last ones to submit their game. I think they done it right on the deadline
Yeah,
on
we
Monday
had to give
evening.
them an extension.
Yeah, actually, we gave them an extension Tuesday,
Yeah.
and this was
But
the only one.
but that's no offense to Tell, but he's young, and he's on like
Hello,
mobile,
Tell.
so it's but he's also on mobile, so everything's a little bit harder for him. And I don't think he knew straight away that he had a deadline, so I think he just rushed. And I think he could have got maybe a better date, or maybe he couldn't, but he just picked the wrong night. But any other night, I think if CMAT played, I think it would have been a lot closer.
They got goals now. Like they got a decent amount of goals. And whenever I looked in, it was like, oh, they've scored like 2 goals. They scored 1 goal. They scored, however many goals it was. Like it was never straightforward for Flame. It seemed.
Oh no, yeah,
But,
No, definitely. The second game could have went either way. It ended 3-2, and on another day that could have been, 3-2 to Broken, and then that's game on 1-1.
But I mean, to be fair, even in the last game, I mean, every time, I mean, Flame started off 1-0 and then Broken pulled it back, and then Flame scored again, and then Broken missed an open net, I believe. That game was so back and forward as well, and a lot of it was that first game was a knockout from Flame, but Broken seemed to figure some things out, and I'm excited to see if they can keep figuring this out and show it in the weeks following.
oh, for a team that's been predicted, 7th or 8th in Broken by most people, compared to Flame, who's been predicted top 4 always. I think that's a good showing from Broken. That shows promise. They can take games if they so choose. If you play CMAT, if you catch them on a good day, if you catch another team on a bad day, they could easily take games off of the top teams. It just takes the right conditions.
Yeah, 100%. And they were just a bit. They just didn't have Aaron on this full day as well. So
Yeah, I think if they have Aaron on a good day, I think they take maybe 1 or 2 games off.
yeah, 100%. But I think we should move on to the next series. What will be Complex versus Unseen? What was played earlier today. So I bet most of you have already watched this, but I don't think it was. Sorry, what?
No, go on, you go.
I don't think it was too surprising of a result. The first game was very surprising. I was watching it while I was being in my scrim, like solo offline for and it could have went either way that first game. Was it OT call or near enough?
Yeah,
Yes,
it was like
it
a
was.
5-minute OT.
Yeah, it went to OT and Unseen were able to get that winner. Then following that, it just seemed to Unseen just got their confidence up and demolished the competition. To be fair,
Yeah.
I couldn't watch any of it. I'm purely going off results here. I was mid scrim, so I'll let Kyle speak for the rest of it.
Well, I will let Toxo because Toxo had the best view.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, Toxo.
I wouldn't say more demolish. I would more say yes. The first game OT that surprised me as well. I did not think they would get anywhere close to winning the first game, even though it's my own team and I should support them. I'm just being realistic here. I I didn't think it would have been that close for OT. Surprised me. They played very well, and then I just think the second game, just a little bit unlucky on the rotations. I don't think it was a lot of back posts, so they missed the two goals. Just unfortunate mistakes. And then I think just the last game, the 8-2, I think they just completely I think they just completely I think their mental was just not there. There was more mistakes happening. Unseen was feeling it. They were faster. They were more consistent, and they wasn't making mistakes.
Yeah. I mean, I only got to see like a bit of the first and second, and I got to see the last game. But from what I saw, uh, both teams started off really strong, especially Complex. But then that 5 minute overtime, obviously overtime gets nervous anyway. But again, make it a 10-minute game. That's scary. And I think the nerves got the better of them in that first game. Second game, I didn't really get to see a lot of that. And then last game, I think Unseen they just had all the momentum, and I saw Loopy left. I think he got really angry.
Uh,
I think their mentals was down.
Sorry.
Go on.
Loopy, when he left, he did say it was a mistake. I don't think he meant to leave.
Oh, okay, my bad. But
Classic Loopy.
but yeah, I think they definitely got a bit headed. They just couldn't keep their mentals down. They couldn't keep the consistency. And Jeffo, Panic, and Kyle, they just took out control and just started shooting, scoring, just taking possession, just dominating that last game.
Yeah, I'm going to take over from my point of view as playing. I thought the first game was nervy and tight, and I think that was the key point where he managed to win the overtime, which was a 42-second overtime. I got my mixed up. My first game or one of my games in the RSC went to a 5-minute over. So that's where I was getting confused. Too much Rocket League in too short a period of time. But yeah, I think us getting that overtime goal really rocked Complex. As I noticed in the second game, Bale just started to purposely go out his way for demos, and taking himself out of position. There was one, I think it was the second goal. He managed to demo me and Panic, and then he cut rotation, turned back to come and try and demo us again. But I'd managed, Jeff got a block, and I managed to score a long goal. I think it was 321-meter goal.
Oh, damn.
Right, that's what it said. I pretty much scored it from our back corner. But yeah, I think that was what undone. I think that first game was key. I think that, you know, really dented Complex's, you know, mentals, their hopes, you know, because if they win that game, then we're on pressure. And, you know, pressure can make the best of players do funny things, you know. So I think that really eased it for us and made it comfortable. You know, the last game was just unfortunate for, you know, Complex that Lupe, you know, lost connection for about 30 seconds to a minute. But yeah, it was a very competitive game, you know, the first two, certainly. You know, a shame not to get the perfect sweep, but we go next week and we try and get it then.
Yeah, I haven't got anything to say. Dwarf?
I don't think it was just Complex falling apart after the OT goal. I just think Unseen as a team, I think you guys warm up during the series. You adapt really well to play styles, not just in terms of whether you're warm or not. So I think that also had a hand in the fact that you sort of struggled the first game, and then, because I'm not necessarily surprised at that. I think any team could hold you close in the first game, but the longer a series goes on, I think the better you guys tend to perform, purely because you have more information to go on.
Yeah, that is true. I've noticed that. It's always been every team I've been in. We've been slow starters. Way back at Clinical, that was what we were known for. Was
Dropping the
slow.
first game.
Yeah, and then in RSC we lost the first game today, and then we came back to win the next three. You know, I was just always. I think it's me as well. I'm a real big part of that. I'm just slow, a warm, and I'm trying to like get out of that. I'm trying to be fresh. But before this game, I had to cut a scrim shot to run to the shot and run back, and got back with like 3 minutes spare, I think it was. So yeah, I was. You know, I'm not the fittest of specimens.
What do you mean you're like the
Oh.
fittest guy here?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Don't you go to the gym like every day?
Yeah. Every day. I go to the gym in my head every day.
So they
Yeah,
go
so
to
like-
he goes to the vending machine.
Yeah,
It's pretty much the same.
gotta get them twiglets.
It's a twiglet.
What do you mean? What's a twiglet?
Anyways,
Yeah,
anyways.
That's a conversation for another.
Yeah. Hashtag blame. Dwarf.
I like Toxo.
Next
Maybe
up,
I'll-
Anyway,
next up, I'll introduce the Reptic scene as it's your game, and I'll let you speak about it first. We have Clinical Masterminds versus CK. What's your name stand for again? Has it got a stand or is it CK?
Nope, just CK. No.
CK.
Yeah.
And yeah, Reptic, take it away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
so it went to a 3-0 victory to Clinical, but it was a lot. I mean, obviously the first game went to a 6-5 win to us, a very, very nervous game for us. I'm gonna assume the same for you as well.
Honestly, me, Killian, and Logan, I was like, we're gonna go into this. Obviously, no offense to you guys, but they are the better team. They have the better champs. They have the better GC. Although their play style is different, they don't always have a third man. They're very mechanical and very offensive. We was just like, just keep it hyped. Make sure we just have clean rotations, just comms and everything. And we was like, oh, we're down 1 goal. It's all right. We keep going. Another goal. We're fine. And then we just got, all of a sudden we got really hyped, scored a bunch of goals, and we were really hyped. And then you got that last goal.
Well, yeah, we were fuming because we scored the first goal, and then the second goal went in, and then the third goal tricks and missed the corner boost. And
Yeah.
on the
yeah, that's why
kickoff.
you couldn't get back. Yeah, that's the kickoff goal, right? Where
Yeah.
like Jonah followed too closely and Trickster didn't get the
I
boost.
think
and
that
couldn't get
I
back
can't
in
remember what the
time.
second goal was, but I think it was a similar thing.
Yeah.
I think it was just a really dumb goal, but anyways, you'll take a goal. That was
Yeah.
two, and then we couldn't. And then we were struggling for a while.
Yeah. we was playing all right in the first game, and then you won that game after we was winning like 5-4 or something, and then Logan's mental shattered, and it just me and Killian were trying our best to keep it as good as possible, but we got into the second game. Killian had a free shot. Logan bumped him. That was kind of it. The mentals were not as good as they were when we first went into it, so we just wasn't playing as good as we wanted to. But also, it's really hard for me as the GC and Killian as the main champ to come in thinking we're going to play with Tavish, who us two played really well together with, to playing with someone lower and that we've never played together with. It was hard, but we've done the best we could.
Yeah,
So
I
can't complain.
I do agree. I think if you played your main, it would have been a very different story. I don't think like clinical. I don't think we played nowhere near the best in the playstyle. Like we definitely played decent, and we had some very good plays. And I don't know if it was because we didn't expect you to play Logan, or it was just us having a bad day. We just something wasn't clicking. But we took the win, and we took advantage of you not being able to play with your main.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it could have been a very different story if you did play your main. But things happen, you know.
Yeah.
Toxo or Dwarf have anything to add to that? Because I didn't obviously manage to see any of it, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
I think, yeah, I can, yeah. I think it's a fairly similar story to the Unseen match, in that clinical. I don't think you settled into it as quickly as you hoped to. I think, although a lot of CK's goals were kickoff goals, I don't think you're expecting to be ball chased. Obviously, with mentals going down the drain, that type of thing, it's going to become easier to play against your opponents. But I also think because of your playstyle, you say you didn't play particularly well. I think the reason you won was because of your playstyle, or won so easily.
Well, I mean,
Because
go ahead.
you were always back. You're not gonna mess up, at least not much. And if you're already up 1 or 2 goals, and you're not gonna mess up in defense, how are you gonna lose?
Yeah, I mean, I realized I had to change. Like, I was trying to play. I mean, as everyone knows, I'm a very chasey player, and as I said in every podcast leading up to season 3, I'm really going to try my best to play that third man role, because that's what we need, and I'm comfortable being third man. It's just not my automatic playstyle. Doing it. I've done it in other RSE leagues and stuff, and in that game 1, I wasn't doing it. I was playing the Dominus. I don't know why either, but it wasn't happening in game 1. I just couldn't get myself in the third man mindset, so I left the game. We take the minute anyways, and I was just I stood up for a while, and I was just thinking, and I came back in, zoned in as third man, and I think that made the difference we needed.
Yeah, because you didn't necessarily get the points that you were getting. I think you had like 200 points, but the fact that you allowed your champs to play the playstyle that they wanted, and you were still performing well as third, providing that support role, providing those passes out of defense and getting those clears in, was the same, if not more value than if you were playing hyper offense.
Yeah, 100%. You can do both from. Like, I mean, when I was needed up front, I took it solo, and I got a few goals that way as well. Like, I'm definitely comfortable playing that play sort of side, man. It's just not so automatic, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think it was a close series. I think it generally could have went either way if they had their main player.
Anyway, has anyone got anything to add to last week's games? Just past games.
I really enjoyed the CM clinical versus CK esports match.
Yeah, well, let's go. What was just a quick run through? What was everyone's favourite game of the week, and what was everyone's most surprising result?
I'll start this one off. Why not? Surprising one was Team and Resurrection. Because a lot of people think was going into this thinking Resurrection they're gonna either get it slapped up or it's gonna be equal, but Team are gonna take it. But it was the other way around, really. And what was the other question you said?
Most
Your,
surprising.
just your favorite.
Oh, my
I think we
favourite.
started with that.
Oh,
but yeah,
okay.
your favorite.
My favorite. Probably Miracle and Fearless. I think that was a really good game from both teams. I really liked it. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah, let's move on to you, Reptic. What was yours?
So let me get them back up again. It's a bit of a stats for some reason. So I think that my most surprising one was with Lotus Corinthians, and yes, they didn't play their main, but I think Duffer could have still won it or even made it closer. I just didn't expect Corinthians to come out how they did, and that's fair play to them. But yeah, that's my most surprising one, I'd say, and for the most entertaining slash the one I would want to watch if I hadn't watched any games so far would be. It's actually a very hard question. Honestly, I think it's Flame and Broken because I wanted to see Broken do very well, and I think that was a very entertaining match in my opinion. It was a lot closer than it showed, and it was two mid-table teams in my opinion, or low mid-table teams battle out and very entertaining.
Yeah, and what about yourself, Dwarf?
I think in terms of saying we're doing it in this order now, most surprising, in my opinion, I think on paper, Fearless 5 are just like they're insane. So I think Miracle 3-0ing them is ridiculous, but I'd also like to put an honourable mention in for Resurrection Team. Of course, I'm going to say, oh, we could have done better, we could have done this, that, whatever. But I genuinely think going into it, on paper, we were the better team. We just performed badly. So yeah, I'd have to say that the Fearless Miracle one was probably the more surprising one, in my opinion. Since Resurrection do like 100%, they're a top 4 team in my opinion. My favorite, probably actually the Orpheus Solaris one, purely because like if either team chose to change something up, then it could have made things so interesting, and it was already quite interesting as it was. Seeing Next Fox sort of adapt was one of the more interesting aspects for me.
Yeah. And Toxo?
For the surprise game, I have to go Team versus Res. I 100% thought Team, 3-1, 3-0. No doubt on my mind about it because they have great players. You got the Dwarf, the third man. You got
Why?
Aspect. What?
I'm not third man anymore.
Eh,
Ish.
Ish, you're more third. So and then you got the Aspect. The pushy guy, and then you got Cryptic for like mid, which just on paper looks good team. So it really surprised me that they lost that much. And then for my game to like watch has to be CK versus Clinical. The passing plays and the individual plays on Clinical was just fun to watch. I believe they got a 6-man pass play, which was insane. Like that's great. To hop out the gates for your first match to do a passing play like that, they're gonna be some a force to reckon with.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yourself.
Reptic, yeah, could you go back, Reptic? Because I'm using you for last games. But yeah, I'll talk about it anyway. But the most surprising for me is Team versus Resurrection. Even though I'm not overly surprised that Team got beat, because I did say when I was casting it that I feel it could have went either way. I think the 3-1 surprised. I thought it would have been 3-2. I thought this had Game 5 written all over it. I rate Resurrection very highly, and I rate Team very highly. Even though my
Not according
prediction
to your
said it.
predictions.
But we all know that was just a joke, and I actually put you second. But yeah, that was
dead last.
the put the ultimate jinx on you. But yeah, it's definitely up there as a surprise. More because I don't think any of the other games surprised me overly much. Because a few of the games I didn't know what to expect going into it, so I didn't have, and as you said, Dwarf Miracle being a surprise to you, it's no surprise to me. I rate Miracle as a team very highly. Hexos and Graves are really good together. And then you add in Charlie, who is one of the most mechanical champ, up there, definitely. So yeah, I rate them very highly. And then my favourite one to watch was probably the Ofiesa game as well. Just watching the change in Next Fox, just watching them slowly, adjust to playing in this style in this format was intriguing to watch, and also just I was excited to see them play. I'd heard good things about Next Fox, and it'll be good to see if the champs can step up and help Next Fox and see how they come back stronger. So that was my favourite game.
Yeah, all around very similar games I would go with if I didn't pick the one I went with. I think all of them were interesting. Should we go over to the league tables for the end of this week?
Well, I was going to say go back to the stats, and we can just look at who's up at the top stats. But here are your leaderboards. We've got early runners, Jeffo, 8 goals, which is a very good return. 8 goals in 3 games. Tricks a 7 goal in 3 games. JWB 7 goal in 4 games. Very, very good start. And then just me creeping in at the bottom there. I'll take that. Take my 3 goals in 3 games. Anyone's out there surprising you? That you maybe thought, it's a surprise that they've had a good week 1.
I mean, 50 is a good player, but personally, I would expect him to be top of 2 of the lists.
Yeah,
that's incredible performance from him, having 6 assists and 10 saves to be top of both of those lists is an incredible performance.
Yeah. I mean, not having an ego or anything, but I think I'm doing the best. I don't even see my name on there.
Yeah, well, if we scroll down, we'll get to you.
Yeah, there's
But
on
yeah,
the bottom row.
I tell you what.
Don't scroll down, please. Oh dear.
But yeah, on an individual basis of myself as well, it's good to see me up there on all of them. My name's on all of them, so I'm happy at that. But,
Yeah, it's lucky.
Second on assist. Let's go.
I think
But
I'm
yeah,
bottom at assist. Gets in.
I don't think there's any surprise. Maybe some of the new players like Onesie being there, a brand new player coming in, fitting in like he's been playing all seasons. It's good to see Azza, up there with 7 saves. Really showed that he did keep broken in it, and with a sore thumb as well. That's an impressive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there is one person in the goals that has surprised me because I know he's very offensive and I know he can score many goals, and that's Cryptic.
Yeah.
I thought he would have been higher than he is.
You have to remember a lot of these are drawn. There's a load for 5.
Yeah, but still, he's very offensive and very good player. I'm surprised he's lower than he is. But it's only first week, so
I don't know if I quite agree with you there.
Yeah, I don't quite agree with you there either.
Have your own opinion, mate.
I think he's You know, he's had a good week though. There, Cryptic. You know, he's higher than most of the GCs.
Mm.
I actually think there's only 2 GCs in that top sort of
Yeah,
Eight.
yeah, Jeffo and
Jeffo and Hexos.
No, there's Netfox.
Well, he's not in the top 8.
No, I knew that. I knew that. Yeah, he's
That's
such a
why I
dick.
specifically said 8.
I knew that.
yeah,
Oh, you
a lot
thought
of
you
the
would.
champs, is like, I mean, week 1 are like quite high up in the stats, and it's good. It's good to see that the champs are getting more involved. Like, I mean, starting from like season 1 of BGCS, champs are like were quite restricted on what they could do, but it's interesting to see how they're getting more and more involved within the seasons. In my
Yeah, I think
opinion,
it's just players are learning more. You know, the GCs are learning more of what the champs can and can't do, and I think that helps.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to bring that. That could just be a wee quick thing. We'll do every thing with. So yeah, let's go to the league table.
well, this is the league table for Ball Busters.
Yeah.
It's on the screen now.
But yeah, that's it's week 1. Anything can change from here.
Mm.
You know, but I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't change too much either. You know, maybe swap Lotus and team around.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyone see any? Can't really speak. It's game week 1.
Yeah, it's not too much
Yeah.
on the league tables, to be fair. It's just all the 3 O's that looks identical each side.
Yeah.
we'll go with the Dwarf rosters just so people can see that side as well.
Come on, CK at bottom? Question mark?
Yeah, it's because you're updated last, so you will be.
Yeah. That's fine. Not too bothered. We've still got so long to go. So long? We've got a long time to go.
Yeah, 100%, mate. It's the
Uh-huh.
way to look at it. Like, in my opinion, I think it's better to get your losses out at the start.
Oh, 100%. I'm so glad we got you first because that still gives us so much time to at least get top 4.
Yeah,
I've just
Go to
noticed.
playoffs.
Is there not something wrong here
what
on the GL? What does that stand
game
for?
lost? Games lost.
But you've not lost 3 games. That should be 0.
Oh, yeah.
So technically, I'm first. Then does that make me
No,
first?
you'll be joint bottom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did they do that?
Yeah,
Did they do that on the other one?
I'm not sure, but yeah, you've put the game loss.
Yeah, it did as well. That's
Yeah, you've just
interesting.
done it wrong. You've put the game 1 and game loss on the same team. That's all right.
Yeah.
Though. That'll be fixed for next week. It doesn't show that on the website.
It doesn't. Okay.
No, that's just your graphic.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Sweet. But yeah,
But yeah.
I am glad we got you out of the way. In my opinion, you're probably the strongest team in my group. So
I think it's good for that reason, as you said. That it's good to get out at the start, and it's also good because it's a gar if you're in the running for like the first in the group and then you lose. I feel like that feels way worse than losing at the start and then just grinding for what you can get.
yeah,
Believe me, it does.
Yeah.
Well, GCI.
yeah,
At least there's nowhere lower than where you're at right now. You know, life can
Exactly.
only go up from now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope so.
Or can
Uh,
it?
I guess you could lose every day.
Yeah. Well, not
least
every
I-
day because I'm gonna have a game a week, aren't I?
Well, every
Somehow
weekend.
you'll find a way.
Yes, somehow.
Yeah.
Do we
Well,
want
yeah.
do we want
At
to
least
move
I
on
can
to
talk.
the next week fixtures?
Yeah, let's move on to next week fixtures where we can dive in.
I don't know
With
why it still
some
says fixture A and
predictions.
fixture B, but that's
That's what I
Ballbusters
know.
on the left, Wolfrotted on the right.
Yeah, so we'll just go through Wall Thrusters, Ball Busters first.
Yeah.
You want to start us off?
Yeah, I'll start us off with Complex versus Resurrection. It's a big game. I think it's a very big game for Complex. They're starting off with 2 tough teams in a row. And Resurrection. If they can play like how they played against Team, and it works out again. If they play the same style of Rocket League and it works out, I think it'll be a long day at the office for Complex. But I
Yeah.
also think that if it doesn't work out, that's complex chance. So if they can just keep in mind what happened against Team and sort of watch out for that happening again, I think they can get chances to take them.
Yeah.
But with that said, I still think 3-1 to Resurrection. You know, I rate this Resurrection side. You know, JW and Lewis are insane up front, and Hamish is very solid in defence and can pop off himself. You know, he has that pop off factor in him. So that's my prediction for that one.
But you do got to remember the like. Oh wait, that's the wrong team. Don't worry. But I do.
Well, anyway, you go with your prediction.
I do think Complex and Resurrection will be one of the better games. I think Resurrection do take this 3-1 though, because just in the pace of how Lewis and JW play around the field and just leaving, although they do leave Hamish sometimes in a 2v1, his defense is, you can just rely on him so much. But I think their pace will outpace Complex. But then again, it depends if Toxo's playing or is Bale playing. And if Bale plays like how he did today, it could go bad, but you never know. So I think 3-1 Resurrection.
You know what? I'm gonna say Complex win this 3-2.
Huh?
I think Resurrection's playstyle of all in, and definitely if JW plays how he did last time, was just sticking up front. Complex's slower playstyle could work against his team very well. In my opinion, they're a lot slower. I'm generally convinced that them playing slower might throw Resurrection off a lot. And if Resurrection can read that, yes, I do agree they might be able to win this game. But if they don't, I do see Complex might have a chance to win this.
Yeah. Dwarf, Toxo?
Yeah, for me, this is a Resurrection 3-0. Nothing against Complex. The quality of players on both Champs and GC for Resurrection, I don't think it's surmountable. It's just, you know.
I'm gonna act like I know what that means.
Man's using big words.
Same.
Can you explain
Same.
that one?
You should know I do this by now. This is not a
Bro,
surprise.
And every time you use
I-
a big
I'm gonna
word, I
meet-
have no
I'm-
idea what it means.
I'm gonna assume it means comparable.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not.
In
They're
the
not
con-
able
in the
to
context you
get
use.
past it.
Yeah.
They're not able to sort of yeah. I don't think Complex really, unless they have an absolute blinder and Resurrection play awful, I don't think they have a chance.
Also, I wouldn't have what Loopy's just said there. I wouldn't have that.
He's
It's
mad.
fine. I'll just prove them wrong. Like, it's no big deal.
Said that last time.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, well, things went wrong.
Yeah.
So things went the way I didn't want them to. So
Anyways,
I'm back, and BR means bathroom.
yeah, I realised that.
Yeah.
I'll let Toxo. Do you want to go?
Battle Royale.
Toxo?
Yeah.
Go.
My game.
Prediction.
Yeah. Depends who's playing. All right. So if Bale's playing, I think like I don't know. Last time I went against my team. I feel like going with my team this time. You got like
There you go.
I believe it's not ego, bro. I'm gonna switch it up, man. It can't be the same. Come on. So I say Complex 3-2 if Bale plays. If I play, Resurrection 3-0.
And you put
Because
yourself down there, but fair enough.
Because I suck.
Okay, whatever.
I
Kyle.
suck.
Is that everyone had their prediction?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we will move on to the next one,
Have you
which
done
is
yours?
Yeah, I've started it.
What was yours? I can't
Yeah.
even remember that.
3-1 Resurrection.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. Okay, yeah.
You got memory of a goldfish, Reptic.
Oh, you start the next one off as well. Let's go in the same order.
Yeah. We'll just go through the same order. Make it easy. So the next game is Team
Woo.
versus Corinthian.
Boo.
Now,
Boo, team.
I don't really.
What the hell? That's toxic.
Yeah, I think team will bounce back. I think they'll probably get a few scrims in before their game. Figure a few things out, and yeah, I see this being a 3-1. I think
Okay.
Corinthians.
Yeah, we'll give them a game.
I think Corinthians will see what BGCS is all about, playing one of the older teams. Older players. But yeah, so team, in my opinion, especially if Aspect plays, Sway plays, I think the chemistry
It
between
will be.
the three of them will be good. So yeah, I think team take it 3-1.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, I think team would definitely bounce back. Yeah, if Aspect's playing, well,
Yes.
even if Janego's playing, I still think they 3-1 Corinthians. But I think if Aspect plays 3-0, I'm not gonna lie, Aspect. No offense to Janego, but Aspect is the player I think they need to just instantly go and cut for his teammates. He's also very mechanical, so that mechanical shots is a lot harder to save. And I think he has a lot of potential to score some absolute bangers. So I reckon team either 3-1 or 3-0.
Yeah, I'll follow this. I think I'm finding it's really difficult because obviously team didn't have the best game this week, and as much as I do think they have way more in them. Is Corinthians did have a good game, and Lotus weren't playing Eclipse, but I still think Corinthians played very, very well. Definitely for, I think most of them are new players, or even all of them might be. Well, Eclipse, but most of them are new. For being new players, I think they played very well against Lotus and in this format. So I still think team will win this. So I'm going to say 3-2 to team.
Yeah, fair enough.
The man himself, not as Dwarf,
Alright.
of course.
I knew that. I knew that.
What is this all 3-1, 3-2 nonsense? I gotta back the boys. Me, Cryptic, Aspect. That's gonna be the team. I don't mind revealing that. It won't matter. We're gonna 3-0. I think we're just gonna overpower them.
What do you mean you got to back the team? You always back your team.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's why I got to back them because they're my team.
Manifest that win with confidence. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
of
you have
course.
confidence.
I'm gonna
yeah.
win the league.
Yeah, that's a bit far.
Toxo?
No. You gotta believe.
I don't
Uh,
believe, but
I think team 3-2.
What
Sorry,
the
Dwarf
hell?
can't back the 3-0. After the loss, I can't back it.
That's toxic.
It's not. It's a factual statement.
No, that's Toxo actually.
No,
That is
it's
true.
just I think team have a better lineup. I know them better. If they're playing well and have confidence, I feel like they can win. It's just depending on how much confidence they bring and how much and actually who's playing. Like Aspect didn't play, and maybe they're more comfortable with Aspect. I'd like to see the team with him on it. So I say 3-2.
Yeah. So the next one following is
The
yeah. Go ahead.
the Unseen versus Team Miracle. I think this could be a tough match, for both teams. I obviously rate myself highly, my team highly, but I also rate Team Miracle highly. But we've played them a few times in scrims, and really we look to match them pretty well. I'm thinking, 3-1. I'm going to give Miracle a game because I think they're good enough to get a game. Especially that first game. They'll be different from Complex. But yeah, I think 3-1 to the Unseen. But I rate Miracle highly, and yeah, it's going to be a very good game. I think it has potential to be a Game 5 thriller as well. So yeah, 3-1 the unseen though.
Yeah, I believe Miracle could win this. Like, I do believe Miracle could win 3-2. It just depends on how Jeffo's playing, really. As long as Jeffo's playing how he was tonight, I think if Jeffo plays how he does tonight, like he did tonight, I think you do win 3-1. But if he's not playing as good as he was tonight, I think it could go to game 5, 3-2, 3-2, either way.
I generally believe Miracle could win this 3-1. I really do think well of Unseen, and I think it generally could go either way, but I'm going to just push with Miracle winning this 3-1 this time. I mean, Hexos' improvement is unbelievable since last season, and he's only just showing more and more, in my opinion, and I think he could really show Unseen. He could really cause them issues. So I do think Miracle do have the potential to win this 3-1.
I'm just sorry, like the thing with I just love it how you all put Miracle 7th and us top, and your predictions make no sense.
Well, weeks happened, mate.
That's true.
On you go, Dwarf.
Me, yeah. So when I was making my predictions about Team and Corinthians, I saw something in chat which convinced me about my prediction for this one. It's gonna have to be 3-0 Miracle, purely because they're just better players. That's enough said. You know?
That's it. I've not got you back anymore, Dwarf. All the hate comments can come in.
Toxo.
Toxo there, yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I think Unseen win if Kyle plays the same. Kyle played really good today. I like how you played Kyle. I like you're gonna take this 100% ego. You know, you're gonna go like GC2 now. But your defense was good, and your 50s and like blocking, like just keeping up the pressure, like having the ball and knowing when to give it away was really good for your team. Yeah, I believe if you didn't do that, you get more pressure on you, and you guys have to play way more defense. So if you play like that, I think 3-0 easy. I think if like you're playing a bit slowish and can't really keep up like you do sometimes, it's going to be difficult, and the Miracle could go 3-2.
Yeah, I agree with that. That is definitely my issue when I come in form and playing at my best. I can keep up with anyone, and then when I'm not at my best, I'm out the game. But yeah, I just want to say one thing. If anyone's seen my save that I got, Loopy brought it up earlier.
No, it was poo.
Yeah.
No, unfortunately, I didn't get to see it, I don't think.
Reptic, if you want to take over, you can start us off with fixture B side.
We spoke about the last one, mate.
We didn't do Lotus and.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Wow, Toxo.
Yeah,
BM.
sorry, I've completely lost track there. But yeah, so anyway, we'll go on to Team Lotus versus Fearless 5. This is a tough one for me. You know, both teams looking to bounce back after disappointing game week ones. You know, I know that there's going to be a bit of an angle to the Fearless 5 roster. You know, sadly, Nad is no longer going to be representing Fearless 5, which, you know, puts a good free agent out there if you ever need one. And he's available. He's a good free agent to pick up.
Might have to yank him.
And then Team Lotus, you know, if Eclipse can come back in, it will be well to see how he slots in. But yeah, I think Fearless 5 will have it in them. I think 3-2. Fearless 5 will take this.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm going to go with the opposite, though. I think Team Lotus are going to 3-1 Fearless. I think they've only got one small change, Team Lotus, and I think small change from having Banan is going to do a lot. I think them three, they're gonna do a lot better than Team Lotus did last season. I think they're gonna be maybe top 4, at least top 5, maybe. I believe they win this 3-1.
Oh shit, sorry.
You're too busy trying to make a Joe Mama joke.
Reptic, man, you're an absolute pleb.
I do agree. I think Lotus, definitely if Eclipse plays, has the potential to win this as a 3-1 victory, and I think they will. Fearless 5 didn't really show me much in the last game, and I think definitely because their main player in Lotus didn't play, that they will have an easier time bouncing back as well. Where with Fearless 5, I believe they played most of their main rosters, or at least the main GC. So I think they're gonna have a harder time bouncing back, and I think Lotus might be able to win this in a 3-2 victory. 3-2 victory.
Just say a 3-3. I'm not sure that's how it
3-3-2.
works.
I was thinking.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's why we've got 3 wins and 3 losses on that graphic.
Okay, so this is a bit of an iffy one for me, because if Eclipse plays, I think it could be like, it could go either way. I think Rex, I've rated him since the beginning of season 2, and when I started teaming with him for TRL. He's an insane player. It just doesn't ever seem to work for him. So if he plays and he makes things work, I think Fearless 5 have the potential to be like a top 4 team. Tornado's a bit too inconsistent for me. So if Tornado's playing, I'm gonna have to say Lotus. If Rex is playing, I think it could go either way. But overall, I'm gonna have to say Lotus and give it a 3-2. Just based on the Fearless 5 uncertainty. Assuming Eclipse is playing for Lotus, of course.
And Toxo, you're up.
I gotta back my boys Fearless 5, Rex, and I like how Rex plays. I think he's on par with Eclipse. Like Eclipse maybe a little bit better, but he can definitely keep up and do what he needs to do if he's playing well that day. And then it's just like I think Fearless 5 has a better chance. I don't really know much of Lotus's chance. I know they played and they played okay. I just know the potential of Fearless 5's chance when they're playing very good. So I would say Fearless 5. I'm gonna go 3-1. Because how this week's been going with everything 3-0s, 3-1s. I'm just gonna say 3-1.
Yep, and that the one thing I will say is if they do the same as last season, it will be Rex playing this game. But I don't know if they're going in doing the rotation thing that they done last season, which didn't really work out for them in my opinion. But we'll see what they do. So that takes us on to, is it Wall Thrusters, the next one?
Indeed. So
Yes.
Yeah, and Reptic can go off with that one.
The first match is Solaris versus Flame. What a very, very, very hard game to predict. Honestly, have no clue. I'm just gonna look through the team. So if someone has theirs, draw the card in front of me.
Yeah, well, I'll kick off because I have mine. I think, from what we've seen from Solaris, they're going to be a very strong team. They're going to be very hard to beat. But yeah, I think that, if 50 plays or if Aqua plays, I think Aqua, is the ex-teammate of mine. He's goated on the sticks. I don't think it matters what one of them two play. It's just really on how, if Helte, Deco, and Exo can all keep the level, a high level to match, their GCs, I think, yeah, they'll beat Flame Esports. I think it'll be 3-2. I'm going to say I think it'll be a close game. if Gonzalo can, play a good game like he played this week, he'll keep it close. But I just think it won't be enough to get past Solaris.
Yeah, I've looked through and I agree. I think. Well, wait, who did you? Yeah, I think Solaris will win this. Did you say that?
Yeah, 3-2.
Yeah, okay. I think Solaris will win this. I think it'll be a 3-1 win. I think Flame Esports did very well, but in my opinion, I think they had one of the weaker teams in this tournament. Definitely with Aaron having a bad thumb or whatever he did to it. I think Solaris will be able to win this in a 3-1. They looked a very good team against Ophiosa, and a lot of people predicted them very high. So I think Solaris definitely. I think they could end pretty high in the tournament, and I think they'll win this in a 3-1 win.
Yeah, and we can move on. Dwarf, yeah.
Yeah, I also think this is a fairly difficult one to predict. After seeing Solaris beat Ophiosa, of course, I rate them highly. I think, personal bias aside, I think 50 is the better threes player, especially in this format, than Aqua. And yeah, like I said, that's not, me having a go at him or whatever. That's just what I genuinely think. I think that, especially with Helter as well, being in that main rotation with 50, it was so vicious what they were able to do to Ophiosa, who were in their own right are a decent team. I'm gonna have to predict them. I'm gonna have to agree with Kyle actually, 3-2. I don't think it's by any means gonna be a one-sided affair.
Yeah, very good prediction, Toxo.
Solaris. I really like how they played. They got the chemistry. Kettle's good. They have very good champs, and I really like how 50 plays threes. He goes for 50s, which is I guess his name. I guess we could have seen that. But he's just a very solid player. I didn't see mistakes from him. He was passing to his team. He was getting the clears. His champs were able to pop off where they needed to, and altogether they just work really well as a team. So 3-1 Solaris.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Solaris Esports. I think they win 3-1. I'm gonna go with 3-1. I believe in them. And not trying to be toxic or anything, but I have been in a team with Minty a couple times, and he has been quite toxic towards me and my teammates after we lose a game or two. So he might have changed, but he might not have. But that could affect the team if he gets if his mental's not good. But if his mental is good, they definitely have potential to very good. No, they have potential to win. So, but I do believe Solar Esports win 3-1.
Are you there, Reptic?
Yeah. So the next game following is Broken Esports versus Interstellar Esports. I think Interstellar will win this. They won them. Wait, 2 seconds.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they won their last game against Dynasty 3-0, and as much as Broken Esports did decently well against their team, they lost in a 3-0 fashion, but they were able to hold it up. I think Interstellar would just be too much for them to handle, and the defense from Broken Esports is kind of all over the place. They make some good saves, but they normally send 2 or maybe 3 people up, and I think Interstellar will just be able to put too many goals in. Dwarf,
Yeah,
how are you? Sorry.
I think Interstellar. Yeah, well, I don't even know if Broken will show up. Not going to lie, I think they are a team that are very much on the ropes at the moment. they might not have a team next week. You know, all we can do is wait and see. But yeah, I think, you know, if they can salvage the team and rebound and come back, you know, I think it'll be a tough game for them. I'll give them a game though. I think it'll be 3-1 Interstellar, just to try and be nice. You know, I think they have got a game in them in this one. So yeah, 3-1 Interstellar.
I'm gonna.
It's Dwarf.
Oh, I knew that.
GCI, how dare you?
Then it's Toxo, you're last.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know about the whole broken esports falling apart type thing. I was gonna predict them because I think, especially with CMAT, you know, if you play CMAT and you have those two champs there, I think that's genuinely like a very solid team. Especially like Interstellar didn't have the best of performances against Dynasty, but yeah, I mean, if they can scramble a team together and CMAT's on it, I think I would still predict that team because Interstellar didn't show me anything that I wanted to see really. They had maybe a few good looks at Dynasty, but they didn't really pose any threats, in my opinion. So I think even then I have to go 3-2 Broken Esports.
You know they beat Dynasty, right?
Did I get it the wrong way around?
Yeah. I was
Nice
so
one, me.
confused.
Okay. You know what? Let's stick with it. 3-2 Broken
Yeah,
Esports.
I
believe.
didn't know if you were confused or I was confused. But yeah. Toxo.
Broke. Oh, Bobby.
My ears.
Sorry. I believe Interstellar are gonna win. Do we know who they're playing? If they're playing Peeps again?
No idea, mate.
Sad.
Pups. He said pups.
Peeps.
Any reason behind
Peeps.
this? No,
Um,
it's Paps.
I really like how they played together. Yeah, like they beat the Team Dynasty, which is not a easy team to beat in my opinion.
Yep.
And getting a 3-1 then definitely showed how well they're able to play and play together. They had some good passing plays while they were playing, and their defense was strong.
Now it's your turn, GCI.
Sorry, I was speaking to my mother. What team are we on? Sorry.
Broken and Interstellar.
So Broken Esports depends on what GC they're playing, really. I'd like to see CMAT play, to be honest. I'd like to see a bit of CMAT out there. I think he could do quite well. Interstellar put on a good performance this week. They all played outstandingly as a team. So I'm gonna say Interstellar 3-1.
Right, and now.
Yeah, sorry, I'm like trying to type for that 8 different people.
Yeah.
Next
You want
up.
me to take over then? Like you just.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Next up, we have Ofiesa for Esports versus CK Esports. If you want to just say your piece now, Reptic.
Yeah,
out of the way.
so I think CK Esports will take this. OCS still trying to figure out the format, and they started to look better and better in the last thing, but you know, GCI's been this for like, well, since I've been here, like the whole time BGCS has been around, and I think him knowing the format is just gonna help them out a ton. So I think it'll be a 3-1. I think OCS will take a game.
Yes, I think it's going to be tough. I think if CK can get their full team out with Nikolai, Killian, and whoever the third may be, whether it's Lampo or Tavish or Lampo or Tavish, sorry. I think they've got a good chance, but if it same thing goes again, like tonight where they're struggling to get a team, you get a free agent, I think they're going to struggle. But judging it off of just what they can put out, I'm going to say CK win it 3-1.
Yeah, I agree with the sentiment with all that you've said, to be honest. I think, yeah, it does come down to whether you get another FA. If you do, it could still be very close. It just depends how quickly Officer have gelled into this format, like Kyle said, or whether Next Fox has just said, "Look, I'm just gonna go full out or go full defense." Those are his two options. And depending on how well he plays it, I assume very well because of how he plays in general. But I think either if you GCI or Nikolai plays, I think you do take it. But I'm gonna give Officer the benefit of the doubt and give them two. I'll say 3-2 to CK.
Mr. Toxo.
I think CK Esports takes it 3-1 even if they have to get an FA. With an FA almost taking a game off Clinical, it's cracked. It's honestly cracked. Like OT first game with FA, like if they have their full team or even an FA, I still think they can take it. They have good pressure. They got the good defense. They just have a little bit more defense side than pressure. So if they work on getting their confidence and getting it out of their half, hard team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping I can get a couple streams in this week. Because I really want to try and get Nikolai, Tavish, and Killian to their full potential as a team. And hopefully having our new coach Halo there will be really good as well. But also if I'm playing, I mean, unfortunately Tavish or Lampo couldn't play, but if Tavish can play next week and I can play and Killian can play, us three, we do play really well together. Nikolai, Tavish, and Killian, they play well. Just a lot of things they need to work on, but hopefully we don't have to get another FA. But I think, it's hard. Probably gonna go with a 3-2 Officia of yeah. I can't say that name.
Well,
Officia.
not back in your own team.
Yeah.
Shame.
You've already lost.
Yeah.
And also, I didn't know Hader was coaching you. That's 3-0 for Officer.
But yeah, Reptic's had to dip for 10 minutes. Stream is still going, but he's just had to run downstairs, I think. So we'll move on. We'll move on to Team Dynasty versus Clinical Mastermind, and I really don't think there's much said on this one.
No,
I think Clinical 3-0 that fairly comfortably. I'd like to be proven wrong. I'd like to see Team Dynasty, step up to the plate, but from what they showed in their first game, they need a big jump up because each game week, Clinical are only going to get better. They're only going to gel together more, and it doesn't matter who plays, if it's Reptic, Brooksy, Trixer, Reptic, Brooksy, Jonah, I think the only time that Clinical lose, and this is no disrespect, is if the sub plays, sub GC, which my mind has went completely blank.
It's Trixie.
Trixie. I kept wanting to say Trixer, and it was putting me off.
Basically, is to be fair.
Yeah,
It's insane.
Yeah.
Trixie, you know, like, and that's no disrespect to Trixie. I think they've not
I think
played
they
much.
still win with Trixie.
I think he's not played much with the other guys,
Mm.
and to lose someone as good as Reptic for a game, it's going to be tough.
Well, they're
I
going to
think
have to
for
at
them.
some point.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, and I don't know when they're going to use it. That's why I'm throwing it in there.
Yeah, I do believe
Because
he
this is a
is.
game I would look at for them to put in.
Mm.
Like, this is a game I'd be looking at early on. I'd be like, right, you know, Team Dynasty didn't look strong. Get Trixie in for this one. You know, no offense, you know, it's just to guarantee sort of a win. But I still think even with Trixie, Clinical probably still win at 3-1 or 3-2. But with Reptic, it'll be 3-0.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I could honestly with Trixie, I tease him a lot, but I genuinely think if Trixie's playing, I could still see the 3-0. You know, it would probably be a lot closer than it would be with Reptic, but I could still see the 3-0 similar to what we've seen this week with a lot of sort of, you know, one game, 2 game victories in every match for series. I could see this a similar sort of thing happening with Trixie because he's a very decent player in his own right. It's just whether he can adapt to this format well enough in time to play Dynasty.
Yeah, do you have anything to add, Toxo?
So while Reptic's not here, I'm going to say he loses because Reptic's
Let's go.
Reptic honestly bad on God. Nah, joking. I think Clinical take it. I don't see a universe where they don't. Like Clinical's champs are like so well communicated, so well positioned for the passing plays potential and for the solo plays with the mechanics. It's like, what do you do against this team? Sure, you can pre-jump Reptic, but you got 2 other guys to think about. It's not just like Reptic right now. His champs are popping off.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
will say that is the best I've seen the champs ever play. So
yeah,
yeah.
I have first-hand playing Clinical, even at their weakest. You have Reptic, yeah, but Trixer, he's literally like a mini Reptic. Like the mechanics are there. I mean, maybe the game sense could be better, but he's got mechanics and that does the job for him. But I am gonna go for. You're all gonna hate me, and I know this, but Team Dynasty.
Dynasty.
Dynasty. I'm gonna say Dynasty 3-2.
I rate the Giga Chad pick. To be
I
fair.
re-
Yeah, I love it how
really-
he says that after he's already predicted Clinical 3-0.
Yeah.
No, I do have a lot of faith in them. Well, I really do. I think they'll bounce back, and I think they'll do really well. So I have a lot of faith in them. I hope they do me proud, and I
I
hope
think
they
we
beat.
cast that series.
I don't, because if they get mullered, then that's embarrassment in my half. But yeah, I do hope they prove everyone wrong and prove me right.
While Reptic's still away, is there any? We'll just take a wee session before he comes back. Is there any questions from the Twitch chat?
No. Yes.
Give it a wee bit of time. But yeah, it was a very exciting game we won. And there's a question here from Toxo who could have just said it, but why does GCI have bad prediction? I think just some people aren't born to be it.
Right.
I think that
Right.
Some people don't have the best analysis skills, you know.
Well, to be fair, Carl, you said Twitch chat, so I gotta type it in the chat.
Yeah, true, very true. But yeah, anyway, Reptic, if you just want to have your say on clinical versus dynasty.
Yeah.
Or dynasty.
I think we will take that. I mean, I don't think we played near enough our best today.
Still quite think.
Yeah, but as I said, I really do believe we got very lucky. Your main did turn up. I think
you're only. I said you're a team that's only going to get better.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. I said I still think we might be able to beat you. It kind of fucked up our game plan that you had to sub. I mean, as I said, it might have been closer. It might have been worse for us. I really can't talk about stuff that didn't happen, but I think we did get lucky.
Or it turned into Dwarf coming into a game plan.
I just
literally, and the way that he played was literally how I play.
Not at all. You have zero mechanics,
bro. I just don't get how you.
What do you mean?
Anyway, I think. Oh, you go.
Reptic, I just don't get how you can call that luck, man. You can't make luck out of that. The double taps, the passing plays, the pressure. That's not luck. You can't have luck 3 games in a row.
Yeah, but I mean, luck that they didn't have their main player.
Yeah, but like.
Not yet.
I still take it, man.
I'm not fucking complaining. I'm saying honestly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if we had our main, it would have been a different game. I think, but we didn't.
But it's how the world works. Not everything goes right for you.
But anyway, I think we should round it off there tonight. It's been a good hour and close to the 2 hour mark. Yeah,
2 hours, yeah.
So the outro will let the 2 hours go, and yeah. Thank you everybody for showing up. I hope you all enjoyed game week 1 of BGCS season 3. You guys all make the difference. Thank you all for, not only arranging your games on time, but also, showing up to them. It makes a difference. And just remember, you have till Sunday evening to arrange your games. I think there's already been a few arranged. So remember to keep an eye on, if you want the game to be streamed, keep an eye on the fixture timings. See what's taken, what's not taken. And but yeah, remember, get that done by Sunday evening, midnight. If not, you go to a wheel. And that is something we will be strict on. You got an extension, last week because it was short notice, but this time it's been out since Tuesday, I believe. Maybe Wednesday night, so you've had plenty of times. So yeah, but anyway, take care. Get your games in, and we will catch you all next week.
Yeah.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye. Have a nice night. Bye.
Find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right. This is just a must. Put me in perspective, I'm the deepest in the cut. Everybody tuning in, but this is just for us now. We know I ain't ballin' yet. Hoes wanna holler, oh no, I don't call them back. Girl, let me see you hold it down, we gon'
is difficult to save FaZe Clan. FaZe Clan got to be careful. Watch out for some of these off-ball plays. Ruddles is going to do what he can to disrupt. Again, Demo there on first killer. He's also looking for bumps now, giving AJ space. Everybody's going to have eyes on AJ here. AJ has the ability mechanically to break down teams individually, setting up